little bit of the history of this place, which is a long history because it dates back to the 12th century. And it began as a military garret because, as you can see from the tower that we have over there, it had a very important overlook over the valley, which connected Florence to Pisa, and it was very important for economical and commercial reasons. So anybody who controlled the Rocca of Montemurlo and the Javello had control over commercial business at the time. I mean, beginning in the 12th century and on until the 19th century. The building has a very particular conformation because it was kind of built in the various centuries, and it's shaped as a horseshoe. It has two courtyards. The lower court was actually the original level of the structure of the building. And because if you take a look at the tower, you see the tower is not high enough to justify the military importance. And we have discovered below the higher court, below the pavement of the higher court, a 4th century roof tiles. So, you know, it's nothing is certain about the history of this place because all documents except documents regarding the agricultural production of the estate have been lost. And so all we know about the times, the old times, is that also the road passing through the Apennines going from Tuscany, one of the many Roman roads going from Tuscany to Emilia-Romagna, passed right behind the house. And people who wanted to use the road had to pay toll. That's why they had soldiers here. Then the soldiers brought their families here, and the building has been enlarged. Parts have been added here and there. Many battles have been fought here. One in particular was the Montemurlo battle. That took place around the 14th century, late 14th century, in which this commander, Castruccio Castracani from Pisa, burnt down half of the building. And we still can see traces of that fire. We have found traces of that fire inside the walls, inside the house. And it's fun how you find elements that confirm history every time. You know, it's very interesting. And after that, it has passed from family to family, from the Pazzi to the Martini, and then to the Covoni, and finally to the Borghese family through marriage, because the last of the Covoni family, Florentine family, Maria Covoni, she was the daughter of the secretary of the Archduke of Tuscany, and the Archduke paid Filippo Covoni by giving him a few estates, not only the Javello estate, and which Maria inherited. Giuseppe Borghese married in his second marriage, because his former wife had died, Maria Covoni, and she brought Javello as part of her dowry. And from then, the estate has always been in the Borghese family until it was inherited by my mother-in-law, Maria Giuseppe Borghese, daughter of Gian Giacomo Borghese, governor of Rome under Mussolini. Ecco, during the Second World War, it has been turned into a hospital. And I mean, a lot has gone, a lot has passed here also during the war. Many people were killed by the Germans who were fleeing when the Allies were after them. It's like, you know, it's been how could you say, used in many ways. When Gian Giacomo Borghese and Sofia Lanza Branciforti di Travia married, they used Javello as a summer house. So they spent a few months here with their 8 children and all their court, like the waitresses and cooks and babysitters and whatever. And there were so many people here that really unbelievable. And they went horseback riding, they had animals, there was cattle, and it was a perfectly self-sufficient farm. And they also produced tiles and bricks in the furnace, which is in the agriturismo that we now, well, in the building that we now transformed into an agriturismo. And then after my mother-in-law's father, Gian Giacomo Borghese, died, his wife decided to give Javello to one of the daughters, and actually 2 of them inherited Javello. One inherited the land, the other one inherited the house. Then they kind of exchanged things, and my mother-in-law paid off to have her sister to have the house. And so from then, they have made a lot of renovations, and they have transformed part of the house into what we see today. Vincenzo and I have been living here for 30 years now. We have chosen a different life. We both come from very crowded and noisy cities. He was born in Rome, I was born in Naples, but we were both kind of fond of nature, and we thought that our life would have been better in touch with nature. And also, in addition to this, somebody had to take care of this place, otherwise it would have had to be sold. So Vincenzo decided he wanted to take care of the house and of the estate, which in the meantime has kind of diminished its dimensions because it was really big. It was 1,200 hectares of land, and the state expropriated some of it after the war, so it was reduced progressively until the dimensions that we have now, which is 333 hectares, divided into fields, 40 hectares of fields, about 4 or 5 hectares of chestnut gardens, 20 hectares of olive garden, where we produce our olive oil at the Agricola Reticaia, and mainly forest. The main job, the main business of the farm is wood, the forest, burning wood to just come out, not working wood, mainly burning wood, and also the olive oil. And now the new activity is our agriturismo. What else can I tell you? We have married in 1993, and as I said, we decided to come and live here. And all our life has been centered around this place. Our children grew up here, and I think that growing up here has given them a vision which is different from other people's vision. I mean, the importance of the environment, the fact that living inside nature gives you a perspective, a different perspective on life, on the important things of life, which are preserving the environment, for example, which is now an issue, or also the respect towards whatever surrounds you. And I think it's been very, very important for them to grow up here, even if it's been kind of lonely for them well, at least they were two, so they had each other, and it wasn't so important to have so much crowd. But anyway, they have left now, they're grown up, they are about their lives. I think they want to come back someday and take care of this place, which they call home, because it is their home, as it is for me. The olive oil that we produce is a special kind of olive oil. Okay, Tuscan oil is renowned all over the world. It's one of the best olive oils you can taste. In respect to its organic value and also of its particular taste. It's very spicy. Moraiolo, Pendolino, Frantoiano, and Frantoiano di Montemurlo, which is a typical kind of olive tree, typical of this Montemurlo region, and which produces a very rich oil, rich in vitamins and polyphenols, which are very, very good for the health, and especially valued in the prevention of female cancer, breast cancer, and uterus cancer. This study has been made by the National Research Center, which sent some of the researchers to study the oil and the plant, and they came to the conclusion that it is one of the richest, of the most healthy oils in Tuscany. So, we're very, very proud of this oil. Besides, we are in organic conversion. We are not organic yet, but nonetheless, we have never given any pesticides to our olive trees or any chemicals to make them produce more. So it's always been organic, actually. We'd rather not produce any oil if the olives are attacked by parasites. Instead of giving all those produce chemicals so that you can produce the oil anyway, we just prefer not to produce 1 year and to see and hope for the year after. And so the oil is purely organic. And you can feel, when you taste it, you can taste the grass, you can taste the real olive, and it's really, really particular. You can take it home with you, and you can take a piece of Tuscany with you, a specific piece of Tuscany with you. The nature here, as you can see, is not the traditional. Okay, the landscapes that you see here is not the traditional Tuscan landscape like the Siena landscape with the hills and the cypress and the house on top of the hill. This is more of a wild kind of nature. It's we are in the pre-Apennines, so it's more like the mountains than the hills, and it's very rich in water, and that too gives you an idea of how and why people established themselves here in the ancient times. That's why I personally invite you to come and visit us, to taste our olive oil, but more to experience this kind of nature and the wellness and the peace that it can give you. Our agriturismo is the ideal place with wonderful landscapes on the valley, with a wonderful view on the valley, and quiet. All you can hear in the night is the animals and the wind in the trees, and the silence is amazing. When you come from big, crowded, and noisy cities, you can experience silence, which is, I think, a richness nowadays. It's something you don't really experience every day in our hectic lives. So, what can I say? I can invite you to see for yourself.